The Latah Valley is one of the most beautiful areas in Spokane with some amazing communities like Eagle Ridge, which I've made multiple videos on in the past and have had multiple clients reach out directly from this channel looking to live in this section of town. And the reason is because it's still a very untapped resource here in the Spokane area. There's beautiful trees, great newer homes, and people just want to call this area home. And that is causing controversy in this area. So we're going to touch base on a couple of the major potential developments in this area and some of the pros and cons that will come with that, because they are going to be drastic. If you're new to the channel, my name's Haydn, Halsted, your real estate resource here in the Spokane, Washington area. And I love helping people just like you make the decision on whether Spokane is the right fit. If you have any questions or want to talk about your personal situation, you can reach out using the link in the description to schedule a meeting on my calendar at a time that's convenient for you, or call, text, email anytime. My team would love to help you out. So for a little bit of context, for those that don't know, the Latah Valley is kind of the southwest portion of Spokane. So you can see the Spokane city proper is right here, and I've highlighted a parcel in the Latah Valley, but it really extends along Highway 195, just below the South Hill, because there's a huge cliff along the green line that I'm drawing here, and then tucks over to the Marshall Creek area, and it's kind of roughly this area right here. And so there's some great communities in this area. We have great golf course like the Qualshan Golf Course here. Eagle Ridge is this community here. And then there's lots of more rural homes in this area. It's not uncommon for houses to be on 10 plus acres. You can see that the roads are very spread apart, things like that. And then we have the Cheney Spokane Road that comes through here. There's a small little area of some shops and things along this road before it gets onto I-90. And if you have not been keeping up with our channel or the news in that area, there's been some major building issues because of the traffic that it's causing in this area. There's only basically one way in and out of here, which is along Highway 195, and the on-ramps are not very good for this area. Some of the on-ramps, you have to just sit at a stop sign, cross 2 lanes of traffic. You have to sit in the middle of the freeway and then merge onto the freeway with the moving traffic. And so when there is a line of cars during rush hour traffic, this is becoming super dangerous. And so when we're adding more homes to this area, is causing more problems. Plus, because this area is so wooded, it's not that far away from where we've had some major wildfire issues. There are major concerns about adding more people in this area, making it more compact in the safety of those people that are living in the area with the potential fire danger. So for the last little while, there has been a moratorium on new building projects, but there are some that are trying to get the ball rolling. We'll talk about 2 today. One that is down the road, it's going to be in the future, but they're trying to prevent the sale of the property. And then one that is actually able to move forward because they filed all of their fees prior to the moratorium back in 2020. First up, and the one that's causing the biggest controversy, is a potential sale of 160 acres of DNR land to a developer that would potentially bring in 1,000 homes to this area. And this would be one of the largest housing developments I have ever seen in Spokane. We don't typically get housing developments that are in the thousands of homes. I was just talking to a client that's potentially moving up here from Phoenix area, where they were talking about 100,000 homes going into a development, which blew my mind. I can't believe they even have that much land to develop there, but I guess it's just all flat and available. So talking about 1,000 homes here in Spokane. So the subject property is right here off of 195. It's 160 acres of Washington state owned land. And the reason they're considering selling this is because it's not making any money. Washington state owns hundreds of thousands of acres that they use to make money for the education system, but they haven't been able to take any timber off of this property since 2009, and so it's actually costing the state money to own this property. There's an LLC surrounding this property that owns all of these parcels of land called Victory Heights LLC, and they're based out of Redmond, Washington, and they're a housing development group called Blue Fern based out of Redmond, Washington. They bought about 100 acres of land for about $8 million just a little over a year ago surrounding this Washington state land, and now they're offering to purchase it. But this isn't a straightforward project because conservation activists, nearby residents, and even city council members have raised concerns about the loss of this public space, the increased traffic like I talked about, and the ecological impacts. And so Washington state has made it very clear that no matter what, they intend on getting rid of this property, whether the city council wants to buy it or they're going to sell it to the developer. And now I went out and took some drone footage to check this area out, and I wasn't even able to, I don't have a big drone or anything, so I wasn't able to fly very far, but you'll see in the footage where these Avista power lines are. This power lines. And so just the gravity of the property, like I flew my drone and I was really only able to fly it to this like first chunk of the parcel. I saw just the edge of this Washington state parcel before I was running out of being by drone flying too far from me. So this is a massive area. And if we're looking at the 160 acres that the government owns, and then the 100 acres that Blue Fern already owns, it's 260 acres of potential development for this area. Now, Blue Fern is promising that it's not going to just be houses in there. They want to develop this kind of like Eagle Ridge is developed. They have promised that they would put in things like schools, a firehouse, make sure that there's parks and a trail system, and make sure that there's even activities for people to do. So potential commercial spaces and things like that. And so potentially building a little kind of small community, another subdivision in Spokane, but the public is skeptical of this promise because there's no way that we can make sure that they keep this promise unless the city council forces them to zone certain areas for certain things. Now, I'm just going to touch base on my personal experience with the traffic in this area. When you're talking about getting in and out of the Thorpe Road area, you have this road right here. This is Thorpe, and it comes down to Highway 195 right here. And now at the moment, you can only take a right turn on here and head down 195. So you can't head actually to downtown Spokane. There's a turnaround right here. And so you actually have to make a U-turn in the freeway to head back to downtown Spokane, or you're heading up to the South Hill to work your way back down. So traffic in and out of here is not going to be easy. The only other option is to head west and then merge onto I-90 right here and then come back into town. So it's just really not that conducive of an area to have traffic that needs to head downtown, because it's either just really it's just out of the way no matter what. So that's problem area number one. And this is years out. I mean, in another article, the Blue Fern developer said, we're years from this even being close to development ready. So there is time, but the city council did ask for 6 more months, an extension of the sale from the Washington State to the developer so that they could spend some more time trying to plan ahead for it, which I don't know. I don't really understand what gets done in these 6 months periods. We keep having these additional moratoriums on the Latah Valley. It doesn't seem like many results get done in that 6-month period of time. We can't move fast enough. And then we're just pushing it down the road. We're not really finding any solutions at this point. I want to speak from a personal opinion because I haven't really been able to find any articles on this, but I know my parents live in the Eagle Ridge community towards the bottom in this lower section down here. And when this Lennar community got announced that it was going in, there was a lot of talk about traffic because they have a similar issue. There's only one way in and out of here. It's on Meadow Lane Road, and you got to do the same thing. You got to, what I was talking about, you got to sit in the middle of the freeway in order to get onto it and head downtown. Or if you're heading northbound and you want to get off and then get into Eagle Ridge, you got to sit in that middle. And it's just this whole cluster right there. It's really terrible. And so there are talks, and I just don't know exactly what the move was. They were going to extend Eagle Ridge Boulevard across this field here. And this would basically be where people would exit Eagle Ridge onto Inland Empire Way or Highway 193, and then people exiting would come through here. But again, this needs massive funding, and I don't know where it stands currently. So these are certain things that are going to happen. But we also know, and we're not really talking about, is that Lennar owns this chunk right here, and they've already extended the road so that they have a second phase ready. And then Black Realty owns something like 50 plus acres in this area, likely earmarked for development in the future. So there's just going to be more going on in this area. So moving just a little further south, we have the Marshall Creek development that was just approved for 425 homes because they had submitted all of their paperwork prior to the moratorium back in 2020. All their fees were paid and things like that. And so that is moving forward and has been approved at this point. This is right here off of the Cheney-Spokane Road. So it's going in just behind the Eagle Ridge area. So part of building the Latah Valley is that the developer has to pay for any necessary changes to the road or improvements that are necessary. And so 2 big things that are going to happen with the construction of this community is that, and it's a good thing, so it was a major concern of mine. So Cedar Road here is this curvy one, and then Cheney-Spokane Road is this highway that connects Cheney to Spokane. And there is this horrible intersection right here where it's just a V. And if you're coming off a Cedar, you have to hit a stop sign and look like all the way behind you to see the oncoming traffic from Cheney-Spokane Road. What's being proposed now is that the Cedar Road will somehow, likely over here, cut through the parcel and connect to the Cheney-Spokane Road via a roundabout. And then the 2 will continue forward onto the Cheney-Spokane Road. This area of the Cedar will just become a cul-de-sac of some sort. And so they will just cut it off because there are residential houses throughout here. And so that's just great news overall, just that they're making changes to that area to make it much more safe. And then I don't know specifically what the updates are, but they do have to make updates to the on-ramp from the Cheney-Spokane Road to I-90. So hopefully these updates to the roads will make this not so impactful to the area. There is quite a bit of traffic already that comes from Eagle Ridge and the surrounding residential areas down Cedar. And so over the time while this is getting constructed, that Eagle Ridge Boulevard down below, heading onto 195, is going to get incredibly backed up because this road will likely be closed, is my guess. But this also impacts a pretty famous college basketball coach here in the area that happens to own about 20 acres backing up to it, so he won't have as private of a property anymore. But I'm sure he's doing okay. His property is worth quite a bit at this point. So overall, I'm all for development. We have a huge housing inventory issue. We need to make more affordable housing because new construction is not generally affordable. The new homes that are going in are not for first-time home buyers by any means. I was just touring a beautiful community called Whitetail Ridge, where they were talking about the new energy codes that were passed in Washington. And in their phase 2, the homes are automatically going to be $70,000+ more expensive because of the new energy codes that passed in Washington. Granted, these are $900,000 to $1 million homes, but the prices affect every level of home price. So at this point, I'm unclear on who the builder specifically is for the Marshall Creek community, how expensive these homes will be or anything like that. As we get more updates, I'll put them on this channel. So if you'd like to stay up to date with all things happening in Spokane, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell because we release videos every single week on the Spokane area. And if you would like me to represent you in your real estate transaction, your real estate purchase, my team would love to help you. You can reach out to the number on the screen or use the link down below in the description to schedule a meeting with me on my calendar. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you in the next video.